Darkness. Absolute, heavy, and freezing darkness. That click still echoes in my ears, the sound of a pistol cocking. I closed my eyes tight, waiting for the bullet to end it all. But it never came. Instead, a hollow, bone-chilling laugh filled the room. It was Mr. Henderson, the building manager. A man I thought was a kind neighbor, now revealed as something monstrous. When I opened my eyes again, Henderson was gone. The heavy steel door had slammed shut. I heard the lock slide into place from the outside. I screamed. I threw my shoulder against the cold metal until my bones throbbed. But it didn't budge. Lily, my sweet Lily, was huddled in the corner. Her face was so pale, it looked like the blood had drained completely from her body. I pulled her into my arms. She was shaking uncontrollably. "Daddy," she whispered, "they're never going to let us leave. They're always watching." I picked Lily up and began to scan the room we were trapped in. This wasn't just a basement. It was a nerve center. Thousands of wires snaked across the walls like veins. Every monitor in the room was displaying a different corner of my life. My kitchen table, my bathroom mirror, even the dark space under my bed. But then, my eyes landed on a monitor that made my heart stop. It wasn't just apartment. For B, there were screens for every single unit in the building. Henderson wasn't just watching me. He was watching everyone. Every private word whispered in the dark. Every secret hidden behind closed doors. It was all being recorded right here. I realized then that a simple manager couldn't do this alone. I remembered the old diary I found under the floorboards. I opened it again, and the words seemed to burn on the page. The management is not a person. It is a hunger. Suddenly, the monitors flickered. Henderson was back in apartment. For B, I watched him walk into my bedroom on the screen. He picked up one of my shirts and inhaled deeply, a look of pure, twisted obsession on his face. He turned toward the camera and smiled. "David, you ruined the game. Lily was perfect. No one was looking for her. But your fatherly instinct, it ruined everything." Henderson pressed a button, and a deafening siren began to wail throughout the basement. Cleaning process initiated. His voice boomed through the speakers. A strange, blue-tinted gas began to hiss from the vents in the ceiling. Lily started coughing. "Daddy, it's getting hard to breathe." I looked around the room in a panic. My flashlight beam hit a heavy iron pipe running across the ceiling. It wasn't gas. It was water. I grabbed my hammer and swung. With every ounce of strength, I had left. Once, twice. On the third strike, the pipe burst. A high-pressure jet of water exploded into the room. The water helped neutralize the gas, but now the room was filling up fast. The water reached our knees. I noticed that where the pipe had broken, it had ripped a larger hole into the ceiling structure. I hoisted Lily onto my shoulders and pushed her into the opening. "Lily, don't stop. Just crawl as fast as you can." I barely managed to squeeze through after her. We were in a narrow, galvanized steel ventilation shaft. My hands were raw and bleeding, and Lily's knees were bruised, but we kept moving. As we crawled, I looked through the small slits in the metal. We were moving directly over the lives of my neighbors. I could see them sleeping, eating, completely unaware of the tunnels running above their heads. Suddenly, Henderson's voice echoed through the metal tunnel. "David, I'm right behind you." I glanced back. Henderson was crawling toward us, a long hunting knife clenched between his teeth. His eyes were wide with madness. I yelled to Lily, "Go, honey, run." The tunnel ended at an old, abandoned elevator shaft. A thick, frayed rope hung from the pulley system above. I tied the rope around Lily and began hoisting her up toward the roof hatch. Henderson reached me just as I got her halfway up. He slashed at my leg, a white-hot wave of pain shooting through my body. I didn't give up. I swung the hammer one last time, catching him squarely on the side of the head. He let out a scream that faded as he tumbled backward, falling into the dark abyss of the shaft. I grabbed the rope and hauled myself up with pure adrenaline. When we reached the top, we scrambled out onto the roof. The cold night air felt like a miracle against our skin, but the nightmare wasn't over. Looking down from the edge of the roof, I saw 6 black SUVs pull up to the front of the building. Men stepped out wearing the same uniform Henderson wore. They were armed. They surrounded every exit. Henderson was right. The management wasn't one man. It was an organization. We were trapped on the roof, and death was waiting for us below. I grabbed Lily's hand and ran toward the opposite edge of the building. If you are hearing this, apartment 4B is empty again. They are looking for a new tenant. If you see a listing for a beautiful, cheap apartment with a manager who seems a little too helpful, run. Because they don't just want your rent. They want your entire life.